Happy gaming, everyone! Fate Grand Order has been a very popular mobile game since the first time it was released. After these many years, I wonder if the game's still any fun or it kinda feels outdated. For this video, I would like to share my opinions on why FGO is a fun game for myself even in 2021, while there's so many mobile gacha games available out there. I've been playing this game since nearly the launch of the game. This game always pulls me back and never stops to amaze me. In this video, I would like to highlight the things that I love about this game. Hopefully through this video, those who are still hesitating to try the game would at least give this game a try. And those who already quit might come back. And those who are still playing will continue to enjoy the content of this game. Personally, the main hook in this game for me is the story. The story itself, it could be the main story, character story, or the event stories. Though the main story is only updated once every few months, though it's always worth it as the story always delivers. The main selling point of the story for me is how historical figures that could have never met each other actually interact with each other. Imagine a knight of the Round Table from the Arthurian legend facing off against the king of Egypt, or seeing Napoleon Bonaparte is carrying a huge cannon and shooting Valkyries from Norse mythology off the sky. I won't give any spoiler on the main story, but your journey with these historical figures is bound to be a hell of a ride. Personally, this game is one of my favorite games of all time in terms of stories. Well, the story itself is not perfect. The main story of the game has its ups and downs. Some chapters are better than the others, especially the early chapters are not as good. However, it gets significantly better, especially during part 2, called the Lost Belt chapters of the story, where the quality of story tends to be consistent, be it in terms of comedy or even the suspense, and the characters are so lovable, memorable, and epic. So if you're the type that enjoys game because of the story, this game will not disappoint you. If you still haven't tried the game, it is a good time to jump into the game, where the story has been progressed quite far ahead. You can take your time enjoying the story while gathering all the resources and planning which characters you would like to obtain through the gacha. If you're going to be a new player in this game, there are tons of story content that you're going to enjoy in this game. Since Japan is ahead, so far the next few chapters stories, according to the Japanese players, will be very thrilling chapters. So we have those to look forward to as a NA player. Talking about the event stories, most of them are just funsies and many fun interactions between servants. Heck, one of them are involving making a film with historical figures as the actors. But of course, there are some that are paying homage to the other Fate series, such as the CCC, that is much more story-heavy event. Bear in mind that the event is the one that made up most of the game. It can be quite cumbersome to farm the whole event if you're too busy with real life, so pace your schedule well with the game schedule. The cast of FGO is very large. It features many historical and mythological figures from around the world. And of course, there are some fictional characters, of course. I'm pretty sure they are not exactly as the history described, but believe me, I learned more about history and historical figure more from this game than history books. Currently, there are more than 200 characters that you can obtain in this game at the current version. The characters can be ranged from people from BC time all the way until quite recently, or even fictional characters like Sherlock Holmes. Well, it is a matter of preference if you want to prioritize gameplay or your waifu and husbando in planning on characters you would like to summon. You get to know more about the characters and their legend through their profile, the stories, and their conversation with them in your room. Well, one of them even will sing your birthday. Isn't that very cute?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Master. Happy birthday, dear Master. Happy birthday to all.
Tying the characters a little bit with the gameplay, the characters are called servants, and they are divided into rarities from 1 to 5 stars, with 5 stars tend to be strongest and 1 star tend to be weakest in terms of HP and attack. But the game actually gives you resources that allow you to make the lower rarity servants to sometimes outplay the 5-star servants. But it requires you to play through the game for a while in order to obtain those resources. So once you have your favorite servants and they are from low rarity, don't hesitate to use those resources so you can play them more often in your team. Just saying, my goal is to have my favorite 3 or 4-star servants to be the same level as 5 stars. Now we're talking about the core mechanic of the game, the battle system. The battle system is very straightforward, a turn-based battle against waves of enemies. You select a team of 6 servers to participate in battle. The first 3 servants will open the battle, while the other 3 stay at the back and will come if one of the opening servants gets defeated. Servants are divided into several classes: Saber, Archer, Lancer, Rider, Caster, Assassins, Berserker, and a few other extra classes. Basically, the core of the battle is to select the right class of servants to fight against the enemies. Touching a little bit about my goal, as I mentioned before, I'm still looking for a Rider and extra class servants that I would like to have and make them stronger using the Grail. So we shall see if any future servants will pique my interest, or you guys have any suggestion that might pique my interest. The game sounds simple, right? But as you progress more into the game, it will get more challenging, such as boss fight or challenge fight, as you need to select a certain team composition that matches well with the challenge. However, the game still provides you with a rather wide range of degree of freedom to build your team. Heck, even some very challenging fights can even be finished with only one servant if they're set up properly. So, it is up to you to set up for those big damage and maybe even one-shot some strong bosses or finish them off with styles. It's up to you. Just a reminder though, you will spend maybe 70% of your time in this game farming for materials and events. But if you set up your team properly, you don't need to full attention while playing the game. You can just do the farming while you're eating, watch something else in the background, or even talking to your friend, etc. Even though the battle system is quite straightforward, when it comes to story fight, I'm always very pumped at the time we reach the boss fight. And I kinda play an anime scene in my head during those fights, which makes it even more exciting. Now, this is something that I love doing in this game, labbing. As mentioned previously about making your own team, this is when the battle system can be really fun for some people, when you're focusing on using favorite servants and building a support team around them so that they can shine and do badass things against the enemy. Well, most people would just go with the meta characters and focus on efficiency and whatnot. But with the huge wide of cast that you can use, you just need to find your favorite character and try to grow them and experiment on how to make them really fun to use, be it high or lower rarity characters. For instance, on what you're seeing right now, I have a character named Yumeran, an original character. She's rather a weak servant, but since her character models and animation are quite neat, I want to play her once in a while. I managed to make my own team that makes her kinda fun to play, so this labbing experience trying to make your favorite character shine is one of the fun parts of the game. If you would like to challenge yourself and try to have fun, you can try to make a randomizer that will pick up the servants for you. Whatever the result is, you will have to use the servants and try to finish the quests of your choice, just like a certain famous FGO YouTuber out there. Now, this is something that really wows the people quite often, especially during the Japanese reveal streams. It is the character noble phantasm and the character animation. This is another hook that keeps captivating me about this game. The creator of this game, The Lightworks, managed to keep me impressed every time during the character reveals for new characters. When I watch those reveals, my blood starts pumping and I just want to play and hoping that I can get that character that's going to come out very soon. Just like the video that is currently playing on the background, the noble phantasm of some servants are extremely cool, but sadly some others are quite plain. So it is up to you whether you pick a character based on their noble phantasm or not, and whether they are worthy of your hard-earned Saint quartz. The key is the feeling when you use this noble phantasm during story missions or finishing off bosses are very satisfying. I would like to share something that you can do to feel hyped about the game and characters. Every time the Japanese versions have their live stream, we can wait for them to reveal a new servant, and it's usually showing the character's noble phantasm, and people tend to get very hyped during this live stream, be it watching directly from the FGO channel or with other streamers. So just share your excitements with other people that share the same interest in this game. Lastly, we're talking about the bane of this game, the gacha. This is for some people the most fun element of the game, at which they're testing their luck, trying to get the characters that they love. Fair warning though, if you do not have the funds to roll for your characters, do not do it, as you might regret it later, as I have experienced myself a couple of times. But if you do, go ahead and be happy when you actually get to pull the characters that you want. This is something that I feel about the gacha. When I do win the pull, the sense of satisfaction skyrockets, and I tend to have more fun with the game right after. The opposite is true when I lose the pool. I tend to feel very dejected and not touch the game for a few days except just logging in. If you try to think this positively, this can be a good opportunity for you to recover from the burnout that we might feel from this game, so we can go back fresh, remember why we love this game, and enjoy the game content again. Thank you so much for watching, gamers. Look forward to my other videos. I would be very grateful if you could press that subscribe button. That will help me a lot. Share in the comment section below on why you still haven't tried FGO, or why did you quit FGO, or if you're an existing player watching this video, what makes you keep playing FGO all the way until now. Until next video, goodbye.